everybody. Just wait a bit. How's that light? Oh, can you see me? Or is that okay? Yeah, I think you can see me. Hello everybody, I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes. It is now 11 a.m. on the 11th of the 11th, the 11th day of the 11th month, 2024. So, yeah, the title of this live, why I felt to come on live today, is to break my fast. Hello, beautiful soul, Salemi, welcome. Thank you for joining me for meditation yesterday. We'll just wait a little bit longer to see if anyone else joins in. If at any time within this Instagram live you have any questions at all, feel free to just pop them into the comments and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. But yeah, the 11th of the 11th is also a very poignant, powerful day, a powerful portal. But I won't go into that today. Mobs! Hello, dear brother. Welcome. Something you're familiar with is fasting. I'm going to be talking about that, my experience with it today. And yeah, as I said, any comments or questions you want to pop in the comments, feel free to do so. So yes, the 11th of the 11th today, powerful day. But if you want to look into the energetics and the importance of that, you can do that another time. Today is about fasting. And so basically today, what I've been doing is I've been fasting for the past 10 days. Today is my 11th day. Just been having liquids. I've been on what we call a solid food vacation, giving my digestive system a break. This organ, this system works so hard. So I was just feeling called to do a bit of a cleanse for my body, really. And since doing the cleanse, I realized more and more how food and fasting are so interconnected with our spirit. Before I go further into this, I would just definitely recommend do a bit of safety. If you're thinking of doing any sorts of fasts, don't jump into them straight away. I've done a few fasts. This is probably my third or fourth fast. I've done a couple of master cleanses where you drink just lemon juice, cayenne pepper and maple syrup for 10 days. So I've done a couple of those. I have experimented with a little bit of dry fasting just for like a few hours at a time. I guess you'd call it like intermittent fasting. So just like when you go to the gym, don't expect yourself to be lifting 100 kgs straight away. This is what I'm realizing that fasting is about. So yeah, if it's something that you're being called to go deeper into, to deepen your connection with yourself, with source, and you're feeling called to it, definitely hear that call, listen to that call, but get some guidance and do your research. And most importantly, what I would say is like, listen to your body and do what intuitively feels right for you. So today is day 11. I feel like I could actually go for much longer, but intuitively I'm feeling like, okay, no, today I want to stop. So I'll just kind of explain to you what I've been doing for the 10 days, 11th day today, what I've been consuming. So what I've been consuming is pineapple juice, so freshly squeezed juice, lemon juice mixed with water as well. Sometimes I will dilute the pineapple juice if it's too sweet. I have been taking herbs, so in the form of tea, and these types of herbs are very sort of cleaning types herbs. Hello, my dear BJJ brother, welcome. We're talking about fasting. I'm on day 11 of my fast, and I'm going to break it with you guys actually after I've done a bit of chatting. But yeah, any comments, any questions, feel free to comment here. So yeah, I was talking about what I've been consuming for the last 10-11 days. As I said in the past, I've done a couple of other fasts where I've just had lemon juice, water, and maple syrup. And actually there was times in jiu-jitsu when I was training when I was just having liquids, and I found actually when I was training and having liquids, my body recovered a lot quicker in between training sessions. But that can be for another video, I guess. But yeah, so I've been having pineapple juice, lemon juice, sometimes diluting that with distilled water. I only drink distilled water. I do not drink tap water. Also, I've been having herbs in the form of herbal teas, specific herbs to clean out the colon, because I guess I don't really know what called me to do this particular cleanse, but I think I was feeling spiritually that I wanted to cleanse out my bowels and feel lighter and strengthen that connection with self and source. So I've been having the herbs. Also, I take daily powders, so things like spirulina, chlorella. At the moment I've got some ashwagandha, some moringa. I have everyday turmeric, and I also have neem, which is quite bitter, but the turmeric and the neem together is very good and cleansing for the body. So that's something those powders are something that I take generally anyway, even when I'm not doing a cleanse. So I've just added in just the juice and just eliminated the solid food, because that's what essentially a fast is. A fast is abstaining from something for a period of time. So yes, I've eliminated the solid food. I was also having tinctures, which is a more concentrated form of a particular herb. So instead of having like a herbal tea, you could have a tincture, which will do what you want it to do a lot faster and stronger. What else was I having? I was having Tanzanian sea moss gel. I think I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it's about 90 to 100 out of the minerals that we need. I think that maybe we may need about 120, but about 90 of them you can find it in sea moss. So I've just been taking that as well, which is like a liquid form. I've been having miso soup. Love a bit of miso soup, especially with the weather getting colder. I was like, in the summer it was easier to do the juice cleanse, but as the weather got colder, I was like, oh no, I need something warm. So I had some miso soup, been doing a little bit of broths. What else have I written down here? Yeah, hot drinks as well. So I love cacao. So I've been taking my cacao. I also do matcha at home and turmeric latte. It's been quite cool because I've not been able to have solid food. I've been able to experiment and look at different things. And being a barista for many years, I've known about different types of drinks, your chais and that sort of thing. So it's been fun to experiment with having those. And I don't drink coffee anymore. I was a big coffee drinker for a long period of time, but it's interesting because as I've cleaned up my vessel and leaned into more like into other types of things like the cacao, and even I take like 7 mushrooms powder, sometimes it's like my body doesn't want the coffee anymore. Especially one thing I really noticed is as soon as I introduced more juice and fruit into my body, I didn't feel like I needed coffee. It's honestly like, because we are electric beings, right? Fruit is the most highest electrical form of fuel that you can get for your body. So as soon as you start fueling your body with fruit, it's like, oh, you don't really need coffee anymore. Yeah, so I've been having these hot drinks, which has been really great, and really warming with this cooler weather. I've just got some notes here. That's what I'm looking at, because sometimes I can get a bit off track, but I do eventually find my way back to where I was. So yeah, I was talking about the hot drinks, the liquids, and the interesting thing with fasting, if anyone's ever fasted before, when you abstain from anything, whether it's sex, whether it's food, whether it's talking, I've done a few different Vipassana meditations where it's just silence. You go away for 10 days, you don't talk for the 10 days, you're just meditating. There's a structured timetable. You get your meals, all vegetarian meals. You have a place to sleep, you have warmth. and it's all donation based, and I would definitely recommend it if you felt called to doing something like this. It's called Vipassana. I can leave it in the notes afterwards. But yeah, when you go from abstaining from doing something that's just so normal for you in your everyday life, you come to a place of like a lot of appreciation and gratitude for that thing that you've been abstaining from. And going back to food, since I've been on this sort of fasting journey, doing different detoxes and cleanses here and there. A few months ago I was doing a bit more of a parasite cleanse where I was eliminating parasites, which is something we all have, and that's another video. But yeah, this particular cleanse was more about my colon and going deeper in to cleanse out anything that's been stuck there from the years and years of eating things that maybe aren't so good for us, like the processed foods that can get really lodged in our digestive tract. But yeah, with the food thing, what I've noticed is how much I used to emotionally eat. I would always say that I was never really into drugs personally. No judgment on anyone if that's what you do, but for me, I used to say my drug was fitness, exercise, and food. As a fitness instructor for many years, I used to be up on the stage with my microphone and this really high intensity sort of this high intensity sort of workouts is what I used to teach, and I used to love it. I used to froth and thrive off that. And I realised that was actually a way for me to kind of forget about things that I was suppressing, basically. And then when I went to do the silent meditation, you're not allowed to move, basically. You're not allowed to do any yoga, stretching, you can't bring any journals, you can't bring any books. You have to abstain from a lot of things so that you can really give this technique called Vipassana a really good chance for 10 days. So it was so interesting for me from going from someone who was very active, but it was almost as if my body couldn't contain all this sort of nervous energy that I always had, got all of a sudden going to being silent and sitting still for, I think it's about 8 hours a day you end up meditating. So when you're forced to do something like that, you are going to be faced with some demons, with some darkness, with some things you have suppressed for a long time, and a lot of the times it's things that you aren't even aware of. So coming back to the food and the fasting, I've realised every time I do a fast, like, oh, that's an emotion I was suppressing with food, or, oh, I didn't know that particular feeling was there. Hello, brother George. Love to you in Lebanon. Welcome into this space, talking about fasting. And yes, if there's anything that I'm saying in here, it doesn't make sense, you want a bit more information, or you have your own experience, feel free to share in the comments and I will try and comment about that as well. But yeah, so going from Vipassana, no talking, abstaining from talking, sitting in the silence, you are faced with your darkness, with your inner demons. Also with the fasting, like from food, you are faced with your demons as well. A lot of the times when we think we're hungry, it's often an emotion that's actually pushing that hunger. If it's all of a sudden you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to eat that thing, or I need to eat that chocolate or that cake or those biscuits, that's often emotional eating. Whereas actual hunger, what will happen is it will usually slowly come on. And also, fasting is a discipline, brother. So is yoga, which is something you do. So I think with anything along this journey, it takes discipline to kind of get to the next level of where our soul is wanting to go. Whether it's something in fitness, yoga, meditation, fasting, it takes discipline, and it takes like a daily practice. And then you kind of might go along a journey and you might decide like, oh, for example, fasting isn't for me all the time, whereas some people might be really into a fasting. So someone like my partner, he loves fasting. That's like his spiritual practice. He did a 220-day juice fast where he ate no solid food and he just detox his body solely on juice. That was about 2 years ago. And now he often does a lot of fasts here and there. I think he's actually on day 16 of his fast as well. So, you know, that takes a bit of discipline. I might do this fasting thing and then decide, oh, this is not my thing. My thing is meditation, and really focusing on that. And as we grow, we might change. So I think it's about being open to, oh, this candle just went out as I said change. I think it's just about being open to what sits with us, our spirit, and our center at each particular present moment in our lives. So yes, I was talking about food and the emotional eating and the suppression and parasites. Parasites as well can often a lot of the times when you might feel you want to eat a thing straight away, it's often actually a parasite. And this is why they talk, and parasites is something we all have, by the way. Parasites is something that we all have. You might think, oh, I'm not dirty, I wouldn't have parasites, but it's the symbiotic relationship that we have with parasites, and it's actually just about getting it under control. So like your gut flora, you're going to have little things living inside of you all the time. It's just a fact. It just is what it is. The thing you want to do is try and get them under control and not let them take you over, because what can happen is parasites can actually take you over. Make you act in certain ways, be violent, aggressive, things that aren't in alignment with source. Things that aren't in alignment with peace and centeredness can often be parasites pushing you to do certain things. There's a particular parasite that I heard about the other day where it's in fish. And basically what the fish will do is they will jump onto like a wharf side, commit suicide, so that a bird can come along and eat the fish, so that the parasite will go into the bird, and then when the bird's flying around and it poops, the parasite can spread further and further. So I don't know if you've seen Men in Black as well, where you've got like the guy with the little thing in his head, kind of controlling this body, this vessel, like a robot. This is what parasites can do to us. And I think the more and more you start to realize it's like, we can have kind of a bit of compassion on ourselves. We can kind of think like, maybe I'm doing that thing because there's a parasite within me that's making me do the thing. But the thing is, we need to not blame that thing, or even if it comes to like, say you experience some trauma in your life, and you might say like, oh, I act like that because this happened to me. Well, yeah, cool, that thing happened to you, or you've got parasites within you, but it's your responsibility to clean up your vessel, to get rid of the parasites. It's your responsibility to clean up that trauma and get rid of those self-sabotaging things that we can do to ourselves, but also to others. So I think it really comes back down to responsibility for everything that we do, because every action has a reaction, and whatever we put out into the world, it's always going to come back to us. It's a state of karma, and karma is not necessarily a bad word, it's just literally energy. I give you love, you're probably going to give me love. If I give you some negative energy, you're probably going to give me some negative energy. It's just one of those universal laws. So once you kind of start to understand that, you can start to make changes within yourself about things you want to attract into your life. You want more love, give more love. You want more peace, give more peace. It's really as simple as that. It's hard work, but when you do the work, you start to reap the rewards. So I'm just going to check my notes to see if there's anything I have missed out. Oh yeah, be informed. If you want to do a fast, just do your research. If you want some more information about where I got my info from, drop me a message in the comments and I can just tell you who I got my info from. There's a guy called Yaki Awakened who I follow a lot of his stuff. My partner Niall, he is on Instagram under Nystro. He's got a YouTube channel as well. He talked extensively about fasting and the connection between the all the organs, and just from his experience really. So since his 220-day juice fast he did a couple of years ago, he's been doing a lot of fast as well. on a predominantly, he's actually raw food. He eats just plants. So when you eat plants in like when it's raw form, you're getting its full electric energy. So I would say I'm probably about 80-90% raw. Sometimes I eat a bit of cooked food, especially in this colder weather, but it's all individual. It's all about what makes you feel good. So yeah, let me know if you'd like some information about where I got my information from. I can send that through. Oh yeah, one thing I've really realized in the last couple of days as I've been going through my fast, it's like a deeper understanding of and remembrance of the sacredness of food and the actual sacredness of sitting down, having a meal, eating, the sacredness of preparing your food, and even the sacredness of going to collect your food. You know, you think about ancestors, I guess when they were hunters and gatherers, food wasn't always a constant guarantee. You know, they'd be out there trying to find the next meal. Yeah, there'll be, yes, Georgia just said he wanted to say fasting is the way to get disciplined for temptations. I definitely agree. Fasting is a way to become more in control of yourself. And it is a huge subject, George, you're right. And thank you for sharing. And I think it's just opening up, like planting a seed for people if it's something that you've been interested in but didn't really know much about. It's like planting a seed that fasting from anything, what it actually does, you may think it might make you weak, but actually it makes you so much stronger than you would ever even fathom. So I would definitely recommend it if you feel called to it. Fasting of any type, silence meditation, food, because these are just what I've experienced. But yeah, fasting is such a beautiful thing, and our ancestors would fast. Initially, I would say it just was a way of being, right? It was a way of being. They didn't know when the next meal was going to come. So the body got very resilient and was able to survive on not a lot of food. But today we live in a society where we've been programmed or told that we need 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. We are bombarded with food everywhere we go. Our emotions potentially are manipulated with things that we see, posters, you're not good enough, eat this thing, you know, like we're so manipulated with our emotions, and food is probably the number one addiction and so accessible. So when you can become more aware of what's actually pulling you towards certain things, is it the parasites, is it the emotions, and I think those two are actually interconnected personally, then you can come into a deeper awareness of yourself and your own actions. Yeah, the sacredness of food is so sacred. And yeah, it's this, after this particular fast, what I've realized for me is like, yeah, I'm really going to be more conscious about who I share my meals with, you know, how I prepare my food. The kitchen, they say, is actually the most sacred place in your house. It's not necessarily your meditation space, your yoga space. It's potentially the kitchen, because this is the place where you are preparing the food that fuels your body. And I feel like our ancestors had more of a connection with our food, whether it was animal or plant. They understood that these beings had to die so that we could survive. Like, how amazing is that? These things that are living beings, they're sacrificing so that we can live. Like, that's, oof, I got goosebumps. I had that realization last night. Like, when you kind of realize that, you're like, whoa. Like, I would not be here living and surviving without these things that are fueling my body. we wouldn't be here with our ancestors either. So I just want to give some kudos to our ancestors and love up to our ancestors, especially our benevolent ancestors. Thank you. But yeah, sacredness of meals. And so if I'm out and about now and I might be feeling like a certain urge of like, you know, you might walk past a KFC. I don't eat meat, but like say you can still smell these things. They still smell tempting, right? But when you can be aware of like, oh, what is that? Is that like a parasite or is that an emotion? Because sometimes it can be nostalgic as well, right? I grew up eating KFC as a kid, so like if I smell that, it reminds me of some good times when I was a child. So it can take you back. Food is so powerful like that. But yeah, if I'm out and about now and I feel like, oh, I might need to eat something, do I actually need to eat it? It forces you to go deeper into needs and wants. And if I'm out and about and I'm in a sort of an environment that's very sort of busy and hectic, and you know, I might think twice and think like, well, actually, is this the type of energy that I want to be around when I'm consuming this sacred food to fill my vessel? Or would I rather go home into a space of peace, quiet, prepare the food with good calming energy from myself, and then sit down and consume that energy again? Because if you're eating something that's been consumed with not a lot of good energy, you go to the restaurant and the chef's, you know, super angry or stressed, that energy is going to go into the food that you're eating. The power of energy is like, once you start to tap into that and realize how powerful energy is and that everything literally is energy, you can jump timelines. You can change your trajectory of how you are in this lifetime and how you show up in this present moment. Because all that really exists is this present moment, right? The past and the present and the future, they all exist. Like a lot of the indigenous cultures, they look at these things, instead of looking at it like the past, the present and the future, it's all on top of each other. The past, the present and the future. The ancestors of the past, me, a current ancestor, and ancestors of the future, we're all existing at the same time. So in order to exist in this present moment, we have to remember our ancestors and think of the future generation. So one more thing I do want to talk about is enemas. Enemas, if you've never heard of an enema, I would definitely recommend learning about enemas, E-N-E-M-A. Something in the Western society that we've forgotten to know about is how to clean our colons. Oh my goodness. When I started doing enemas, it's been about 2 years. I got my first enema bag when I was living in London, and it was £10 on Amazon. Basically, if you don't know what an enema is, it is, you get a bag, you pour water in it, sometimes you can use herbs, and basically you put water in it, you hang it up. It's got a tube, you lie down on your left side and you put it up your behind, and then you turn the nozzle on, and what that does is it fills your colon with water, with whatever liquid that you want to put in there to clean out and flush out what you need to flush out. So you'll fill up the water. Sometimes you might want to massage your colon in this like circular motion, starting down here, going up here and down here. And then you'll feel a pressure, and then you will need to go to the toilet. And sometimes it will surprise you what comes out, especially when you've been doing like no food. Like I've been doing, this is day 11, and I've been doing enemas each day. I do enemas most days, to be honest, but I've been doing enemas each day on this juice fast, and I've still got stuff coming out. I've still got stuff coming out of my bowels, which goes to show that sometimes you might think you're cleaning out, but you just never know. Like, this digestive tract is so long, and there's so many nooks and crannies and corners, and things can get stuck. So doing things like a detox and having quite astringent foods, which is what I'm going to be breaking my fast with today. Astringent meaning foods that pull anything that's been stuck, pulls it out of your colon. Enemas, I would definitely recommend starting to do them. Even if you're not doing a cleanse, just start doing them, just to start to get your body used to it, to start to clean out your bowels. If you think about it, and if you're eating every single day, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, your poor digestive system doesn't get a break. It doesn't get a break. So, imagine if you were going to the gym every single day, 3 times a week, and you didn't have a rest day. Like, there's going to be a point where something's got to give. And for a lot of people, something I've learned in this recent detox, the number 2 biggest cancer in the world is actually colon cancer. And it's not one that we hear about. We hear more about breast cancer, but colon cancer is the number 2 cancer in the world. So doing something so simple like getting an enema and cleaning out your bowels, your colon, it could save your life. Like, it could literally save your life. So, okay, so I'm going to go into what I'm going to break my fast with today. So I wasn't kind of sure what to break my fast on. What's recommended is to be having things like juicy fruits, because it's very hydrating. Juicy fruits have what's called H3O2, I think is what it's called. You've got HO2, which is water, and H3O2, which is found in juicy fruits. I don't know the exact science behind it. I can't remember. If you look up Yaki Awakened on YouTube, he has a lot on Instagram. He talks a lot about H3O2. It's full, like the H3O2 is basically full of minerals that our body needs, and it's going to be different from fruit to fruit. Yum! So I was really called to grapefruit, and I've been learning about grapefruit. Hello, welcome. Just talking about grapefruit. This is the fruit that I'm going to be breaking my fast with. And I learnt about, when I grew up in the Solomon Islands, I was born there. I lived there till I was 5. That was the first time I remember actually ever having grapefruit. We also had amazing things like pineapple, mango, coconut, 5-star fruit, 5-corner fruit, which I think people call it star fruit. But I remember as a kid thinking like, oh my gosh, it's so bitter. But a couple of months ago I was looking at doing a parasite cleanse, and some of the biggest fruits to help with the parasite cleanse is grapefruit, papaya, and I heard pineapples as well. There's mixed reviews on pineapples, but I was feeling the pineapple, so I went in for the pineapple. Also, if you're looking at doing a parasite cleanse, the seeds of the papaya are so powerful to just kind of swallow them whole and let them pull those parasites out. They're kind of like magnets. And actually on this cleanse, I had some papaya seeds which I was taking as well, I think up until day 8 or 9. But in my parasite cleanse I did before, I did see I was eliminating some big parasites, some, about this long, I'm not gonna lie. But this particular cleanse, I haven't seen any come out, but there's probably been some in there. But yeah, the parasite cleanse, maybe that's for another video. But yeah, I've been really called towards grapefruit, and if you could smell this, it smells so good. And I also got delivered a care package from beautiful Niall at AMPHICELL. He makes these like delicious, he makes a lot of amazing handmade products for the body, mind and soul. This is a pineapple and cayenne pepper juice. Cayenne pepper is also really good for getting the blood flowing. So I drank one of those this morning. I just chugged it back. He also does Tanzanian sea moss gel, so that's where I got my sea moss from. He makes amazing body butters, all organic, handmade, vegan. So yeah, that's what I had this morning. And then what I've got now is my grapefruit. I was going to cut the grapefruit open first, but I was like, no, I cut that bit off this morning. I was going to prepare it before I ate it. But I thought like something that I really enjoyed about grapefruit is just the act of actually peeling the fruit. you know, in the supermarkets now, you might go in and you will, sometimes I've seen apples, you know, cut in a bag, and mandarins that are peeled in a plastic packet, but literally this beautiful rind, this is the packet for the fruit. And when you look at your food and you prepare your food, our bodies are so smart that they actually start to get the enzymes ready in our gut that we are going to need to break down the particular food that we're going to eat. So the act of me right now, this is juicy, the act of me right now of peeling this delicious grapefruit is sending signals to my body. Oh, pomegranate, Salome, yes. I do love pomegranate as well. I think pomegranate is also, I was reading, a very astringent fruit. So astringent meaning very pulling. It pulls out acids from our cells, like on a cellular level. And disease in our bodies, they thrive in an acidic environment. So in order for us to sort of stop any sort of diseases from manifesting, we want to try and get our bodies into the most alkaline sort of environment as possible. You think of anger, right? Anger's in the liver. Anger creates a lot of heat in our body, right? Which becomes like acid. So if you get someone who's very angry, they might be harboring some potentiality for some diseases. Dis-ease meaning not at ease. Oh my gosh, if you could smell this grapefruit. So also I wanted to quickly talk about monoeating. Monoeating is something that I've been introduced to. I actually did, earlier this year, I did a Vipassana at home, a 10-day silence meditation retreat at home, where I did everything I would have done in a Vipassana center where I would normally go. And I just did it at home. I did all the meditations at home, and I only ate grapes for 10 days and a bit of dark chocolate. And the reason why I have the dark chocolate is because I'm not on, you know, on a deathbed, that I'm trying to like clean myself up so much because my body's not in a good state. My body's in a pretty good state, so I can afford to kind of have that bit of dark chocolate, because for me it makes me enjoy the experience. So I think if you're going to be doing anything like this, like a fast or anything like that, especially with food and detoxing, and you're living your life, you're still going to work, you're still doing all the things, you've got to make it an enjoyable experience. But if you're able to take time out of life for like 10 days, 2 weeks, then you can go straight in, you know, you can go hard. Depending on your health conditions, of course. But yeah, I did 10 days of just grapes. There's something called the Grape Cure. I've got a book. I'm just going to quickly grab it. It's called The Grape Cure. And it talks about the healing powers of grapes, especially seeded grapes, especially red grapes. They are also very astringent. And yeah, I felt really good after eating that for 10 days and the meditation together, married together. That was a really beautiful experience. But yeah, I was introduced to monoeating when I did that. And basically what monoeating does, it allows your digestive system to like chill out and just really focus on digesting one food instead of having like your apple and your banana and your kiwi fruit. You know, these are all different foods that require different enzymes. So yeah, when you give your body the chance just to focus on one thing, oh my gosh, smell that grapefruit. Yeah, when you give your body the chance to focus on one thing, yeah, you're just being kind to your body. Like, this is something that I've realized in the last day after my morning meditation. Like, oh my gosh, like, I have not been kind to my body, like, through these years. I think, you know, we can be kind to our bodies to an extent, but sometimes it's that mental, right? Like, and definitely for me it's through the fitness industry, like working in the health and fitness industry, there was always, you had to look a certain way and this sort of thing. So there's this deep down sort of self-loathing or self kind of unacceptance was always there. And since doing the detox, this came to the forefront. So when you do a detox, deep subconscious thoughts that can be very self-sabotaging come to the forefront, and that is true magic. Oh, this has been a long live. It's been a lot of information, but I think it's been really worth it. And yeah, now I'm going to break my fast, and it's not even like I'm starving to eat this. It's like, yeah, I feel like it's a good time to. So Salome, I'm just going to read your question. It says, for me, the problem is finding real food. You can't just trust Tesco, Morrison's grow food in UK, really hard work. It's so true, yeah. I mean, the thing is, ideally, if you can get organic food, that's great. But also, I do believe in the power of energy, and that, you know, I've gone to Aldi just to get this beautiful, beautiful grapefruit. And it's not organic, but I feel like when we have this energetic sort of intention, or this energetic positive energy, it can kind of override the potential pesticides that are in there. And if you're working, because I believe it's so holistic, it's not just your food, it's your food, it's your mindset, it's the meditation, it's the people you hang around. Are you getting into nature? Are you earthing? It's all so holistic, and it can be hard, and sometimes we can be hard on ourselves, like, that's not fully organic, or I need to be having this amount of herbs a day. But actually, just do the best that you can. Have compassion for yourself, and let that lift your vibration. So this is a beautiful, beautiful grapefruit that I got from Aldi this morning, and yeah, I'm just going to take a moment just to give thanks. Give thanks for this beautiful grapefruit that I'm about to consume in my vessel. Thank you, beautiful grapefruit, for allowing me to use your energy to feed my vessel so that I can continue to experience this amazing life here on earth. What a beautiful experience. And thank you all so much for joining me. I wish I could share this with you, actually, to be honest. But here we go. Here's the first bite. I always love like opening it up, and look at the flesh of the grapefruit. I feel like it really reminds me of the fibers of muscles. I've been in the fitness industry for a long time. Yeah, it's cool. I can see sometimes organs in fruits that I eat. It's really cool. But here we go. That's amazing. I do love a grapefruit. This is so juicy. If you haven't had any juicy fruit in a while, go out and get some juicy fruit today. Apparently the pith is really good for you as well. But I'm gonna go and enjoy this. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had just a lot of information that I wanted to share with you. I felt like I had some insights come through after this fast. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm going to save this video, so feel free to go ahead and ask. If you're in my WhatsApp community group, feel free to ask questions there. But yeah, on this 11th day of the 11th month, I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you for joining me at 11 a.m. on my 11th day of my fast. I'm probably going to eat just grapefruits for the rest of the day. I'm feeling that my body just wants to keep it chill. And then tomorrow I'm going to see how I feel. I was thinking about maybe a salad, but yeah, it's not recommended to jump into eating cooked food, and just to keep to raw food while your body adjusts to eating again, especially if you do like a longer fast. But thank you all so much for joining me. Sending you all so much love, so much positive energy, and yeah, I look forward to growing more and evolving on this life path, individually and collectively with you guys, with you beautiful souls. Have the most beautiful day. Much love.